Welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to be doing part 2 of the electrolyzer efficiency test. So today I'm going to be looking at the watts needed to produce a kilogram of oxygen in a confined space for the electrolyzer. In the last episode, we did kind of get to that point. However, I didn't necessarily focus on it from the perspective of what about efficiency in relationship to power. So this is watts per kilogram, but further the exploration in the reality that you can use multiple electrolyzers with the same amount of pumps, and we're going to see how that impacts the results that I got in the first experiment. In the first experiment, I determined that you could increase the electrolyzer's efficiency if you were to surround it with enough pumps that it created sort of a vacuum to pull away that oxygen from the electrolyzer. Now, I've already done an experiment where I took away these walls on the outside, and the efficiency drops right down because it just starts bouncing off the maximum pressure. So I'm not even going to show that. What I'm going to be doing here is running 2 electrolyzers and then changing the number of pumps, and then I'll go ahead and try to do it with 3 electrolyzers and changing the number of pumps as well, ultimately getting back to the net result, which is how many watts per kilogram of oxygen you get. So just so you know, more or less the amount of volume inside of your enclosed space right here doesn't necessarily matter. I've already done enough experiments to know that that doesn't matter. So I'm not going to change this arrangement. I'm just going to turn stuff on and off. So for the first test, I'm going to enable both of these electrolyzers right here, and then the pump that is right next to both of them. So there we go. Boom. Let's see how this works for one day. I'll do a couple of days to get the numbers, and then we'll just move on from there. All right, so coming up on my first results here, 120 kilograms. And then I also had 111 and 142. So that's right in line with what I saw with just 1 electrolyzer and 1 pump. So that confirms my theory, basically, that your pump is the restriction there. All right, so 2 air pumps and 2 electrolyzers produce no more oxygen than just 1 electrolyzer with 2 pumps. So we haven't seen any improvement at all currently. Just to answer one of the questions of why I was using Cheat Engine to speed up my game, is that I find that when I either use Control U or Alt Z, my game tends to become unstable. It lags for quite a bit, and then it either goes really fast or it just crashes. So Cheat Engine seems to be a much more stable way to speed up the game. Alright, so for this test I'm going to enable 3 pumps, the ones that are right above the electrolyzers and the one that's right next to it. And we'll enable all of this and see what the results are going to be. Maybe we'll see some efficiency increase at this point. Or maybe not. Ooh, 395. I think we're seeing our first improvement. Alright, time for some results here. 361. Alright, so there's a little bit more variance that I'm getting. However, this is the first time we've seen a positive result. So 3 pumps and 1 electrolyzer averaged at 312 kilograms. However, with 3 air pumps and 2 electrolyzers, we got 374 kilograms. So something's starting to happen. Alright, so if 3 air pumps and 2 electrolyzers saw an improvement, then let's see what 4 does for us. I'm thinking we're going to see something pretty awesome here. Previous day, 491, baby. Yeah, that's an improvement again. 5 pumps. Here we go. By the way, look at all this gas moving around. That is absolutely insane. All right, let's see the reports. 568. Only 520. Am I getting some blockage going on? Oh yeah, this pump is just starting to slow up. Alright, well I ran into some problems with overpressurization when I was running 5 of these. So, I gotta collect the last day here, but look at this. I am just trying to get rid of oxygen at this point. It's just, I have to run it everywhere. I'm producing a lot more than I'm consuming at this point. Alright, yeah, 546.7. I didn't change my average at all. I didn't have to do that. Oh well. Alright, 6 pumps, 2 electrolyzers. 600? 620? Crap, what happened? Power went out. Why has the power gone out? Oh, I burnt up the wires. Ah, crap. Alright, 6 pumps, 2 electrolyzers. Let's see if I can do it this time without blowing everything up. Power. Hey, look at that. Nothing's red. Woo! 668.9. That is huge. 654. Nice. And I stopped it right on the day break. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do a 7 pump day and see what happens. Oh, the draw on the batteries. There we go. Woo! Did it, I made it. 683, so not a big improvement there. I think we've plateaued a little bit. Alright, so even though I think it's a little bit ridiculous, I'm still gonna go ahead and test 3 electrolyzers with 4, 5, 6, and 7 pumps. I don't know if I'll do a full 3 days, but we're gonna see what happens when you crank it up to 11, huh? Not a lot, you get the same. I mean, you understand what I'm getting at, right? 473.4, not really any different than what we saw with the 2 electrolyzers. Actually, a little bit less efficient. Gonna go ahead and enable this to 5, see if we see an improvement or not. I think I might just have too much gas now. Is my base constipated yet? Doesn't look like it. Seems like it's still working. Nope. It's gotta find a, nope, go to the next spot. Go to the next spot. Uh-oh. It's getting constipated up in here. Alright, before things get completely backed up, I gotta make an emergency dig. There we go. Let that air out of there. 570. At this point, I'm not seeing any improvement. You're gonna need a lot of pumps to improve with 3 electrolyzers. Well, I got a lot of pumps. Let's turn on another one. Alright, there we go. Got right to the end of the day. 761! There we go. That's an improvement. Alright, for the sake of it, I've got things running. I might have enough power. I might get constipated. So here's going for 7. Alright, I pretty much got it working. It's hard to get rid of this much air. Like, try to find another spot for it to go. Yeah, there we go. Still running. Nothing else I can store air in pipes. There we go. Made it to the end of the day. 817. That number could be a little bit higher. But you know what? At this point, that's just ridiculous. There might be some insanity build that you have that requires this much. But I doubt you're going to have it all in one spot. Whatever. I did the test. There's the number. Again, it could be a little bit higher. It's just ridiculous. Alright, so let's take a look at the data. So looking at yesterday's results, what we want to look at is the watts per kilogram. So what we see here is 0.5 watts per kilogram in open air. The next best result was 2 pumps around 1 electrolyzer for 2.5 watts per kilogram. Obviously that comes at a price. The next best result is when we saw that efficiency jump. That was a little bit higher to 4 pumps around 1 electrolyzer right there. And that was a 2.6. So the number to beat is 2.5 watts per kilogram. Now if we come down here and we look at the 2 electrolyzer test right there, obviously I've doubled the theoretical number for open air. I didn't test that because you'd have to have a giant base in order to make use of that. But that is a theoretical number, and your efficiency jumps are not quite as big here. You can see that you don't even get back to basics, or you get back to 100% until you get to 4 pumps right there. However, we do have an improvement in the watts per kilogram at 2.4 watts per kilogram. So it is more efficient to have 2 electrolyzers and 4 air pumps right there. So we've doubled everything and it actually became slightly more efficient. Now when you think about that, your electrolyzers are outputting air to the tiles that are surrounding it, but those pumps, which are right next to those electrolyzers, are sucking air in, creating a vacuum. So it turns out that there's a little bit of overlap on both sides of that pump, which increases its efficiency right there. So that's pretty cool. But it's barely anything at all, realistically. The plus side to that is you are producing nearly 500 kilograms of oxygen. A noticeable number as well is 6 pumps right there. So just like we saw before, when you jump that up again, you definitely saw an increase both in efficiency and the watts per kilogram, and you could produce 661 kilograms. at 2.5 watts per kilogram. So that's a big difference. You know what I mean? That's big. All right, so moving on to 3 electrolyzers surrounded by a bunch of pumps. There are some ridiculous results as well. So noticeable one is 6 pumps at 761 kilograms a day. And that is 2.4 watts per kilogram. So that seems to be the golden number. If you're under 2.5, you're efficiently using that sort of enclosed space right there. Obviously, you can take it up to 7 pumps right there, and it's about the same efficiency. All in all, that's ridiculous, right? So when you chart that out, this is what you get overall. Open air is essentially the same efficiency all the way down, and you can see the amount of oxygen it produces also increases the same sort of amount. Then you get down to 3 electrolyzers and 6 pumps being the next most efficient way to deal with that. And that is actually working off of 2.4, and when you multiply it out a little bit more, you can see those numbers over there on the left. Moving up a little bit is 2 electrolyzers and 4 pumps right there. So that's going to be your next most efficient, and then after that is 2 pumps and 1 electrolyzer. If you really want to be efficient, that's where you're going to be if you're talking about power consumption. However, if you flip this around and just do it by the amount of oxygen produced as relative to how much energy it is using right there, then you can see right here the amount of oxygen you obviously want to do. Once you get past open air, 2 pumps is a little bit more, but not very efficient. And you can just see how that kind of moves on up from there as well. A couple of different visual aids. At any rate, that's all I got for you guys today. This has been a pretty interesting exploration down the electrolyzer efficiency experiment saga at this point, but I'm just glad that this information is actually useful, and we did find some more efficient ways to use that same sort of setup if you need a lot of oxygen. However, nothing truly compares to just having an electrolyzer in some open air and designing your base around the idea that you can move that stuff around. Not that you don't ever need a pump, but if you're going to put pumps around it, you might want to put a couple of them. On one final note, thank you guys for all of the support recently. The statistics have been off the charts compared to a lot of the stuff I've been doing here on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. And if you guys got some other things for me down there in the comment section below, I do read these, I do comment to them, and they do spark new ideas for other videos. So thank you guys so much for all of that. If I've earned your subscription, then thank you so much for that. I'll see you again, hopefully next time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out.